feeling guilty is normal. Okay, we do a lot of things throughout the day or throughout the week or month or whatever that we may have wished we have done differently. And sometimes we feel guilty about what we said or the action that we chose to take. So even though you might instantly have a sense of regret, that doesn't mean that we should dwell in that, okay? So when we typically feel guilty and we dwell, then our whole nervous system responds with that emotion, that vibration. And when that happens, then our whole biological components are changed. So it's normal to have this reaction of like, oh man, I wish I didn't do that. But we have to immediately change right after that and be like, all right, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. You know, because if we dwell in something, like I said, then it just changes our chemistry. So we have to love ourselves more. We have to just find grace and understanding that a lot of the things that we do, it's the first time that we've done it. And even if it's not the first time we've done it, then it's just part of the practice of us trying to resolve that pattern. So, you know, like, I think this is common, especially, you know, when we, you know, text back somebody that we were like, oh, I said I wasn't going to do that. And then you feel guilty after you did that. Or you feel guilty if you went out and drank a little bit too much. Or you feel guilty that you know, made whatever kind of error that you did. Like, that's normal. That's normal to feel a little bit upset with yourself that you didn't honor yourself. But you have to quickly just come back to the practice and be like, okay, next time I'll do better. And next time actually try and do better. But again, if you slip up and make a mistake, there's no reason for guilt, to stay in guilt. Okay, guilt is just that reminder that, oh, I wasn't in my aligned space. Oh, I wasn't in my core, my alignment, my midline. I slipped off again. Okay, get back on. And it's just like when we do meditation, you know, just come back to the breath. Like, oh, we drifted off in our head. Instead of feeling guilty that you did that, just come back to the breath. Instead of holding the story of, oh man, I'm a crappy meditator, I can't get out of my head. Knock that off. Stop that. Just like, oh, okay, come back. So same thing with guilt. Instead of staying out in that space of like, oh man, I'm so guilty, I'm so dumb, I'm so stupid, I can't believe I did that, I know better. Stop that. Just come back to the practice. It's just going to take practice. You know, we have to train ourselves, and the best way to train ourselves is through love. Just keep that loving vibration. Because if we keep with that, you know, hounding, you know, we're not good enough, we're a terrible person because we made another mistake, like there's no room for that. Like that vibration is just going to be counterproductive. It's just not even true. It's not necessary. It's just, you know, we keep looking at ourselves as this being that is morphed with mistakes and negativity, and we can't measure up all the times, and we can't actually, you know, have our dreams come true, and we deal with all these limiting beliefs and stories. But if we decide to get the soul to come out instead of the brain being in charge, get the soul in charge, the soul is going to say, no, you are light, you are love, you are not your brain, you are not your stories, you are not your external environment telling you who you are your soul. Like, bring that out and love that, and stop feeling guilty if you make a human mistake. Stop feeling resentful, stop feeling regretful, stop feeling these negative vibrations. Like, come back to love, come back to your aligned self, come back to where you want to be, that peaceful state that you always want to cultivate and come back to. Just come back to it, come back to your breath, come back to your aligned self. So again, like, don't be hard on yourself if you're going to run with the story. It's just part of the program that you're programmed in right now. But your soul can come forward and be like, no, this is the practice of coming back to this aligned space, which is what I want to come forth. And this loving vibration is going to amplify, not just in your own life, but all the lives around you. So it's a vibrational domino effect. So keep doing that, and your example is just going to bless the rest of the world as well. So that's just like, that makes sense to me. Does it not to you? Like, why keep staying in this negative vibration and amplifying that when you can come back again to that peaceful state that you want to cultivate and amplify that loving vibration? So Yeah, it's going to take practice, but it's so much better to work with training yourself to be who you want than to live into that familiar pattern, that familiar, loop that we put ourselves in. A lot of us are in that loop. It's like from childbirth. We're kind of taught this as we're born into the world in a lot of ways of like how we should be, or that wasn't good so you should feel bad. And it's not that we shouldn't feel our feelings, but we shouldn't dwell in them. We shouldn't dwell in any kind of negative vibration. We should just learn to recognize it for what it is. Made an error, I'll do better next time. Come back to your heart.